A page with a square box in the middle. The box is lined with rows of the number 5, repeated over and over. All of the 5s are identical in size, font, and color, and equally distributed across the box. There is, however, a trick. Among those 5s, hiding in plain sight is a single capital letter S. Almost the same in shape, it is impossible to spot without straining your eyes for a good few minutes. Unless that is, you are a grapheme, color synaesthete, a person who sees each letter and number in different colors. With all the 5s painted in one color and the rogue S painted in another, a grapheme, color synaesthete, will usually only need a split second to identify the latter. Synaesthesia, loosely translated as senses coming together, from the Greek words syn, with, and aesthesis, sensation, is an interesting neurological phenomenon that causes different senses to be combined. This might mean that words have a particular taste. For example, the word door might taste like bacon, or that certain smells produce a particular color. It might also mean that each letter and number has its own personality. The letter A might be perky, the letter B might be shy and self-conscious, etc. Some synesthetes might even experience other people's sensations. For example, feeling pain in their chest when they witness a film character get shot. The possibilities are endless. Even though synesthesia is believed to affect less than 5% of the general population, at least 60 different combinations of senses have been reported so far. What all these sensory associations have in common is that they are all involuntary and impossible to repress, and that they usually remain quite stable over time. Synesthesia was first documented in the early 19th century by German physician Georg Sachs, who dedicated 2 pages of his dissertation on his own experience with the condition. It wasn't, however, until the mid-1990s that empirical research proved its existence, when Professor Simon Baron-Cohen and his colleagues used fMRLs on 6 synesthetes and discovered that the parts of the brain associated with vision were active during auditory stimulation, even though the subjects were blindfolded. What makes synesthesia a particularly interesting condition is that it isn't an illness at all. If anything, synesthetes often report feeling sorry for the rest of the population, as they don't have the opportunity to experience the world in a multisensory fashion like they do. Very few drawbacks have been described, usually minimal. For instance, some words might have an unpleasant taste. Imagine the word hello tasting like spoiled milk, while some synesthetes find it distressing when they encounter people with names which don't reflect their personality. Imagine meeting a very interesting person named Lee, when the letter E has a dull or hideous color for you, or vice versa. Overall, however, synesthesia is widely considered more of a blessing than a curse, and it is often linked to intelligence and creativity, with celebrities such as Lady Gaga and Pharrell Williams claiming to have it. Another fascinating side of synesthesia is the way it could potentially benefit future generations. In a 2013 study, Dr. Withoff and Dr. Winauer discovered that grapheme color synesthetes, who had never met each other before, experienced strikingly similar pairings between graphemes and colors pairings, which were later traced back to a popular set of Fisher-Price magnets that 10 out of 11 participants distinctly remembered possessing as children. This was particularly peculiar, as synesthesia is predominantly considered to be a hereditary condition, and the findings suggested that a synesthete's environment might play a determining role in establishing synesthetic associations. If that was true, researchers asked, then might it not be possible that synesthesia can actually be taught? As it turns out, the benefits of teaching synesthesia would be tremendous. According to research conducted by Dr. Claire Jonas at the University of East London, teaching people to create grapheme color associations, the same way as a synesthete may have the possibility to improve cognitive function and memory. As she put it, one possibility is guarding against cognitive decline in older people, using synesthesia in the creation of mnemonics to remember things such as shopping lists. To that end, researchers in the Netherlands have already begun developing a web browser plugin that will change the colors of certain letters. Rothen and his colleagues corroborate the theory. In a paper published in 2011, they suggest that synesthesia might be more than a hereditary condition, as the non-synesthetic subjects of their study were able to mimic synesthetic associations long after leaving the lab. There is obviously still a long way to go before we can fully understand synesthesia and what causes it. Once we do, however, it might not be too long before we find out how to teach non-synesthetes how to imitate its symptoms in a way that induces the same benefits 4.4% of the world's population currently enjoy.